Another Doron video, another day. That's right. Let's check out this Doron video, and then we're going to get straight into it. We got some WoW to play. Let's check out what he has to say.
Brought Twilight's Hammer into Black Phantom Deeps recently, and that it is still a really dangerous place, or that Mulgore, despite the long peace and being a really peaceful zone, it is still in a pretty tough spot.
This is about
with
KALIMDOR and the updates that have been made to it. Or did you know that
these Alliance guys are actually still present in Doron? While KALIMDOR was actually updated quite a bit back in Cataclysm. 13 years had passed since then, and a lot of things changed. Most of you know all these changes that happened in BFA, but there are actually a ton of hints about how KALIMDOR changed after that it was not shown in the game, so I really wanted to compile all the information that we currently have, from the various attacks on the crossroads to the fact that Blizzard actually moved KALIMDOR further east on the map in Dragonflight. We know the Veiling Caverns are still corrupted, have Azerite in them. We know the Sword of Sageras is more relevant than ever, and we just learned that KALIMDOR has a new name that the Titans have hidden. So let us get zone by zone and cover every bit of information on what KALIMDOR looks like today with all the updated stuff. While KALIMDOR has not been fully updated, the Magic Spoon, this video sponsor, is the
Magic Spoon, great.
Updated for the 21st
yeah, Twan, I was able to kind of integrate it with a point system. So that's how we're gonna do it. After you watch for 1 hour, you'll be able to enter.
That can perfectly fit your goals. There are 13 to 14 grams of protein, but only 140 calories per serving, 0 grams of sugar, and 4 to 5 net grams of carbs. Best of all, they don't taste like low-calorie cereal whatsoever. They're cereal bars or
still pretty much the same rules, just more ways to get points to enter.
Only 130 calories. So click the link below to get some Magic Spoon cereal. They just started shipping to Canada and the UK, and you can build your own variety box with my code Doron for $5 off. My favorite flavor is the Frosted, but you can choose cocoa, fruity, peanut butter, cookies and cream, as well as the honey nut, blueberry muffin, birthday cake, cinnamon roll, and a bunch of others. And you can also add cereal bars to the variety box as well. So make sure to click the link below, or just go to magicspoon.com/Doron or use code Doron and get $5 off your order today. As opposed to many other continents, KALIMDOR has actually been updated. We've had the obvious Cataclysm that essentially reshaped the entire place, and we've also had a few other expansions that changed some of the features, although in a minor way. There was really never any shattering type change other than the one we've had, aside from the destruction of the Eldersail. However, as all of you know that you play the game, and you already probably know a lot of these changes, I want to cover the ones that were not really shown in the game and that happened in the books or were mentioned in quests or in these various conversations. There's actually a ton of information to unpack, as many things have been updated, but it is only a matter of time before this catches up in the game. However, before we get into the zone by zone updates, let's look at some of the more general ones. So this is something that
a lot of these happen in Cataclysm, I thought.
If you compare the maps before Dragonflight and after, Blizzard actually moved the entire continent of KALIMDOR
we talked about
more
this.
to the east. This might have been done in order to not have the Isles cluttered, but other than this, we have actually new information about a possible other side of Azeroth that is west of KALIMDOR. A hidden place beyond the waves was mentioned in Old God books, and we also had a pirate that had apparently ventured it as well that is relevant in 10.0.7, so we might have something with that, and it could be a setup for a future storyline that could be happening quite soon. Other than this, we also learned in these books that we found in Deathwing's library that apparently the Old Gods had their own name for KALIMDOR, the mega continent, not the current KALIMDOR, but the Titans deleted this name from history and named the place KALIMDOR, which means obviously Land of Eternal Starlight, so this new name might play a role in the near future as well. However, other than these all-encompassing structural changes, we actually have all sorts of bits and pieces just thrown all over the place across the various zones of KALIMDOR. So to start from the top down on the map, we have Mount Hyjal. One of the most iconic zones of Warcraft in general, as this was the key point of Warcraft 3, but only an actual zone introduced in Cataclysm. Well, some things have changed. First, in BFA, there was a lot of Azerite stuff happening here with the elementals.
Are they still fighting in Hyjal if you go there now?
So that in itself would make some changes. Then, when the Horde destroyed Eldersail, Nordrassil became a temporary home for some Night Elves, as it was a place for refugees. Other than this, a lot of the elementals should have calmed down over the years, and we know that there have been some restoration efforts as well, so it is entirely possible that some of these scorched zones are just hellscapes that that were in Cataclysm are no longer there. For example, we know that the Circle of Cinders was actually restored, like this was officially confirmed. Right next down the line we have Moonglade that we know was attacked by the Legion, but other than this we really don't have all that much information. However, in regards to Darkshore, there actually is a ton of info. As we know, this place was a battlefield for years, and a fierce battlefield at that as well. The only thing that rivals this place is Tirisfal Glades, and both of these places have been equally scorched and destroyed. First, we have the burnt Elder Stone in the background. That is a sad sight that is still present to this day, and we know that the Alliance managed to retake this place and to drive out the Horde.
So it has been updated since the war.
However, there is info after the Fourth War. The entire place is said to be quite terrible and war-torn. Little wildlife remains, birdsong is gone, and while some restoration efforts are happening, it is just a destroyed land. It was confirmed that the Grove of the Ancients and the Shattered Spirit Whale are active, but other than that, Darkshore is quite a miserable place up to this day. Right next down the line we have Felwood, which has been ravaged pretty much since Warcraft 3, and we don't really have all that much.
I have not been to Felwood and
we know certain
shit,
demon
probably
hunters have
since
been on
vanilla.
missions to hunt down demons.
Has any quest ever taken us there?
Years ago, the presence of demons has drastically come down everywhere. However, we do have some information, and it's not really good news for the lovers of Felwood. Despite some parts being cleansed, we know that after the Fourth War, so after BFA, Satyrs, Infernals, Corrupted Ancients, and Corrupted Treants still roam this place. There is also a bunch of twisted, oozing,
so it's still
and
fucked,
disgusting trees, and the corruption
There's no reason to go to Felwood.
ever present. So while it may not be as bad as it currently is in the game, it's not really all that much better in the lore either. Ashenvale is a bit similar to this in terms of changes, however, it is in a much
I have good
better
memories
shape.
of Ashenvale when I used to play
BFA,
my Night Elf.
Ashenvale was actually super peaceful. As the Sentinel said, the place was just a super boring post to be. However, it ended up not being so boring when the Horde just moved their entire army through this place to burn down Teldrassil, which just brought on hellfire. However, at this point in time, it isn't actually all that bad. It was confirmed that despite the war and the Alliance managing to retake a bunch of places, Ashenvale is still a lush wilderness, and the Horde are still continuing on their lumber operations. However, some interesting things have been happening. For example, Zoragam Outpost was mainly abandoned, and the Alliance was super careful about this place because they knew it was the Horde's closest place to attack Azramist Isles, so they just planted a bunch of water charges around it, and the Horde did the same thing on their side. Now, we have the Black Phantom Deeps that actually had a lot of interesting things.
Man, he's flying through these.
The Twilight's Hammer heard Void Lord whispers and arrived here, and they mined for Azerite, which is the blood of the World Soul, which is relevant right now. The cultists were defeated, but the place is still super dangerous.
So there's still people mining for Azerite?
In close proximity, we have the Stone Town.
There are so many zones that just feel like they're frozen in time and nothing's going on with
them. All that much happened in this place, but we know that the Charred Vale was a place for an Engineers Guild event, and after the war, the Sentinels managed to pretty much destroy every siege weapon that the Horde had brought to the mountains, but other than this, there really hasn't been all that much activity. Now, let's get to some of the most interesting bits of Kalimdor changes. We have the heart of all the Orc and the Troll players, and that is Durotar. So, in regards to Orgrimmar, there have been some structural changes. We know, for example,
more
Sylvanas
spikes.
use those Orgrimmar tunnels with piano shoes, but what they currently are used for, we don't really know. There have been some changes as we got to the trade outpost, so some buildings have been moved. And I'm
getting ready to enter the contest.
Piece, there has been more prosperity, and the city more than likely expanded to some extent. There have been some changes to the harbor. The Draktyr recently arrived, and I'm expecting this place to look much better than after Sylvanas had created that crazy war back in BFA. The only thing we need right now is just a complete actual visual revamp so that the main Horde capital is not stuck in 2010. We also have updates.
Wow, was Cataclysm that long ago? Or wasn't Cataclysm? Yeah, it was. Right? Yeah, Cataclysm was when it got its update. Was it that long ago? Holy crap.
Plus, we know a new dock was built that goes to Zuldazar, and a lot of the Horde's naval power was stationed here during the war, and I'm guessing it's still used as a significant base. We also have that Alliance expedition that many actually expected them to be completely gone, but they actually aren't. For example, the Alliance sent a rebuilding mission to Tiragard Keep in BFA in Durotar, and while that kind of failed, we know that these humans are still present after the war, and it is likely that the keep is being rebuilt, although it isn't too certain. We also
They're still there. Those are some loyal humans.
Technically in the Barrens, that was destroyed back in the day by lava elementals, but it was rebuilt before BFA. Once again, the current state is uncertain, but with the peace, I'm guessing the Horde allowed the Alliance to rebuild their forces despite the strategic location. While we're talking about the Barrens, we actually have information about it quite a bit of information. During the Fourth War, a large Alliance army attempted to capture the crossroads, which obviously
No
failed.
way.
And during
What the
Shadowlands,
hell?
the Argent Crusade defended Crossroads
I didn't
from
know
Scourge
that.
and the Cult of the Damned. There have, without a doubt, been some changes to the place, but I'm guessing a lot of it...
The Crossroads goes back, man. The Crossroads was a place that we raided all the time. By we, I mean when I used to play the Alliance. That was a spot we raided all the time for World PvP. I had no idea that the Alliance in the lore tried to take the Crossroads.
has been restored over the years as they had passed, but we have 5 years time skip. Then we know that Baal Modan was used as a staging point by Alliance to attack Mulgore back in BFA, and the Horde launched an offensive on Baal Modan. The current
So
take
what are these
is
NPCs
uncertain.
doing?
However,
They're
we
still just
do
doing
have
that?
some really interesting information in regards to everyone's favorite dungeon, the Veiling Cavern. So a lot of Azerite was found in this place, which launched a Horde and Alliance effort to attack it, and this Azerite really impacted the animals that live there. We did learn though that after the Fourth War, as the dust had settled, the Nightmare corruption still haunts this place, and both factions
nice.
abandoned their efforts to harvest resources here, despite a lot of power, which means that the Veiling Caverns are a pretty dangerous place up to
Future
this
Mythic
day.
Plus
Now, while
dungeon.
we're talking about iconic horde zones, we of course have Mulgore. Well, other
One of
than
the prettiest
Border
zones in the
Cabin,
game.
the Doron still actually face a lot of problems here even to this day, because Mulgore is quite a headache for
The
the Horde. We know
Quillbore.
that the Venture Company are still a problem,
Quillbore.
the Gnolls are an ever-living pain in the neck, and most importantly, the Grim Totem tribe is still a pretty major enemy as they're attacking the actual water supply of Thunder Bluff. With the recent Grim Totem and the Primalist involvement in dragonflight, I'm guessing we are going to learn more. In regards to Feralus, not
Man, the
all
Tauren
that
are
much
getting
happened.
screwed.
We know that despite both the Alliance and the Horde footholds, it is still a pretty wild and dangerous place, and the Ogres and the Gnolls are a pretty big threat despite a lot of the missions. In a similar manner, Thousand Needles also have 1,000 problems. First, the Grim Totem are still a pretty big enemy, and the
1,000 problems,
Horde
but
are struggling
1,000 Needles
to keep
ain't
their
one.
footing in this area, and also the South Sea Pirates make this place
That's right.
even more dangerous. However, other than the Cataclysm, no crazy structural changes.
Wait a minute, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? What was that? What that? What the hell is that thing? Looks like a sword. How'd a sword end up in the plan? What the hell?
Other than the Cataclysm, no crazy
What
structural
sword?
changes actually happened to Thousand Needles. In Dustfall Marsh, we don't really have a lot of updates, but the Alliance presence is still minimal to non-existent since the mana bombing of Terramore. We know during BFA there were some Alliance scouting
Man, are they
missions in
ever
this
gonna
place,
rebuild
but we
Terramore?
definitely won't be getting rebuilt Terramore anytime soon, or at least there aren't any hints for it at the moment. However, with the Horde and the Alliance peace, the Alliance might be allowed to build Terramore back up at one point.
That's
as
been there, no
really,
way, sir.
back in the
No
day, it
way.
was the Alliance capital. Furthermore, we have Silitus. There aren't any big changes to it, but we know that the
Oh,
sword
there
of
it is
Silitus
again.
is still there. Blizzard is
What is
constantly
that
hinting
thing?
at it being relevant. With all this crazy new old god Titan information, it is likely that Silitus might actually be the most relevant place, the most relevant zone throughout the entirety of Kalindor, and it is possible that we could be returning to Silitus. Other than these zones, we
sure
know
eventually
that for
we'll
a
go back
while,
to
the
Silitus and deal
Quillbore
with the
had gone a
fucking
bit
sword of the
crazy with the
planet.
Cataclysm, but that has obviously calmed down quite a bit. And with how many of them we fought, I'm guessing they have also calmed down quite a bit and their numbers have been culled. In regards to the Centaur, that used to be a super major threat to
Oh,
Kalindor,
God, they
I'm
look
guessing
hideous.
the exact same scenario happened as we had defeated them time
Have they
and
not
time
updated
again.
those
Keep
models?
in mind, these Centaur guys used to be the biggest enemies of the Tauren and a huge menace across the entire continent, but at the moment they're nothing more than a bit of a nuisance as the
They
two
look horrible.
factions, but mainly the Horde, control Kalindor. So overall, there have actually been quite a few updates to the entire continent. There has been a 5-year time skip since Shadowlands, and really it is only a matter of time before a lot of these changes are reflected in the game. While some zones look decent, it would be really cool if Blizzard actually visually revamped the entirety of Kalindor. Thank you for watching.
Yeah,
Check out
if
the
they
news
did,
libraries
but they
by clicking
won't.
on the screen, and check out the Notes Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.
They probably will not.